thing on Sunday with StreamYard, I done messed my settings up. And literally, when I figured it out, I was like, wow, I just really had to hit a button. But it is what it is. We here.
We here
Shout out
now.
to
We
you.
here
I
now.
saw the graphic. I saw the graphic from behind the scenes.
Oh, you saw it? You saw
It's
it?
nice. It's nice. I like it.
Oh yeah. I appreciate you talking about the T.
Oh, yeah, the T, the
What
22
graphic you
birds.
talking about? Oh yeah. I appreciate that, man. It came out yesterday, man. It's real dope, man. People always supporting the merch, man. You know how that go, man. You know what I mean? Always never could take that for granted because you know what I mean. We got 359 people in here right now, and we about to talk about you know what I mean. This coaching situations. We about to talk about all things off season pertaining to the Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna try to cram in as much information as possible. So how you feel about the coaching hires?
The one I loved off the grip. I mean, we were waiting for Brian Johnson to be announced. I think that he offers everything Shane Steichen can offer and more. I think you saw what he got out of Jalen Hurts. And I don't want to credit all this to Brian Johnson. I think we do this too often. If a positional coach has a good year under the quarterback, you want to give it all to one side. I think it's, both earned their respect. But Brian Johnson has called plays before in Florida. You know what I mean? It's not like he's brand new to the thing. And he was in the meeting rooms. He designed the plays. Nick Sirianni still gets credit for how this offense functions because he don't call the plays on game day. But guess what? He's probably telling you what scripted plays he wants to do to start a game off. He's in Sirianni is in Shane Steichen's ear on, all right, I want to see more of this, more of that, and then he calls it in this order. And so Brian Johnson is definitely just stepping into one of the best offenses in the NFL, and I think he's going to keep it going. And I think this offense is going to be more efficient, just the way you saw Jalen Hurts get better. This offense, I think, is going to get better because of his efficiency and because it's now year two under still the same regime with this group of guys. It's year three for Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, but these group of guys, Smitty, evolving, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert being who he is, the O-line still being intact. And so I can't wait to see that. Defensively, I'm still feeling it out. I want you to go how you feel about the OC first before I talk
so so
defense.
I'm happy. I'm happy for Brian Johnson. I think it's well deserved. You know what I mean? I've really liked the job that Shane Steichen did, but it's just one major flaw in Shane Steichen's game plan to me all last season was there were zero hot routes. And when you have zero hot routes, Jalen Hurts had to do a lot of things just off of pure athleticism. If we had a pocket passing quarterback back there, the offense would not have been as good as it was, man. Because Jalen Hurts had to make a lot of stuff happen, even in the Super Bowl, man. You know what I mean? It's countless times where free rusher was running at Jalen Hurts and he had no quick outlet, no out route. You know what I mean? I think Brian Johnson comes in and I think he probably designs a few quick outlets. You know what I mean? Our running backs didn't catch a lot of passes. Those are usually guys who get those outlet passes. So I'm excited to see how Brian Johnson makes things easier for Jalen Hurts. I think things were easy in a sense of the playing style that Jalen Hurts has. His playing style makes it easy for everybody, but like we need an offensive coordinator to make it easier for Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? With how dynamic he is. So I feel really good about Brian Johnson and what he could do. It can't get any worse, I don't think. You know what I mean? I think it only could get better because this is an in-house hire. As far as defense, man, I'm optimistic. You know what I mean? Jonathan Gannon was absolutely trash his entire tenure here. Despite the record, I don't care what anybody says. When Jonathan Gannon stood across from, an elite pocket passing quarterback, he folded. You know what I mean? And he never changed anything. He didn't change his scheme at all. With this guy, I think we're at least going to, be appreciative of some of the changes. You know what I mean? He did fairly well last year with a not so talented roster. You know what I mean? He was able to squeeze the most out of a roster that wasn't talented. You know what I mean? I think we got more talent, even if some of these guys don't come back. We're more talented than the Bears roster on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that, this defensive coordinator, I don't think he could be any worse. You know what I mean? So I'm in a good spot.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, and so again, I'm not gonna lie, I've been really busy, just keeping up with the day-to-day stuff. So knowing that it was Denard Wilson or Sean Desai, I wasn't really studying as much. I did watch Gate City's video, but once he got hired today, I started digging in a little deeper. Shout out to Honest NFL. It is a legit NFL guy who used to work inside the Eagles office. He keeps himself anonymous, but he knows too much, and he talks about the Eagles more than the rest of the NFL. And he said for anybody who is second guessing this Sean Desai hire, watch the 2021 Bears defense, these 3 games. Watch what he did against Cincinnati in 2021. Watch what he did against the Las Vegas Raiders, and watch what he did against the Green Bay Packers the first time he played. Watch them games. And so I started watching a little bit. Plus, he had a couple clips that you had to like download and check. You're going to see some of the same schemes as Gannon, right? He's not a big blitzer, although when he does it. He disguises it a little bit better. But what you'll see from him is the mechanics in the scheme be changed up. He's not afraid to show man and then bail out in zone, and vice versa. Show zone and bail up in press. He'll do that more often than not. He'll have his pre-snap defense a little bit more jazzed up than what Gannon will say. This is what we're going to do. Stay in this and just play your role. So I think this is the true Vic Fangio scheme. Gannon, played Vic Fangio-ish, but he still had a little difference in it, and he played really passive. I do think you're going to see our corners, whether we have Bradbury or not, which I don't think we will, be more aggressive. And so watching and hearing that and spending like the last couple hours watching them things, I do feel more comfortable. Again, it's 3 games. Why did the NFL honest NFL tell me to watch them 3 games? What happens if I watch a different game? But he was just showing schemes familiar and schematically, mechanically difference between him and Gannon. So some of these guys flourished in last year's system. Again, there were times that Gannon came out with the right play, called the right thing. His adjustments took a little too long, and it just lacked a little bit. It was just a little too less aggressive at times. And so if this guy's still going to have the same scheme, just different mechanics, I think it's going to bowl well with guys who, again, all pros, interception, sack leader. We had guys in this somewhat similar scheme do well. It's just that when push comes to shove, or as you say, when it's time to step on someone's throat, Gannon don't have the adjustment to do that, where I hope Sean Desai does. But you can't discredit what Hassan Reddick having his best year, Bradbury, Slay still being pretty good, CJ Gardner-Johnson. There was things that bode well from this. So I'm trying to take the good from Gannon, and then hopefully Sean just adjusts better.
Yeah, and one thing that you said that's real interesting to me is that he gives different looks. You know what I mean? And I think that's really big in big games. In the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes called out the zero blitz. You know what I mean? I don't know why I keep watching clips of the Super Bowl. It's heartbreaking. Patrick Mahomes said that zero coverage, and it was a wide open running back. I feel like this guy Sean Desai can show zero coverage, then it could be a zone. You know what I mean? And those type of plays like that turn into got some type of change up, man. We need somebody that got some change up. And as far as guys performing well in Gannon's scheme, it was a really good roster. You know, Hassan Reddick was going to eat regardless. But then you got Gannon on the podium. Well, if I don't drop him back so much, he could have had 20. You know what I mean? Hassan Reddick was going to eat regardless. Gardner-Johnson was already a dog. Bradbury, already a dog. You know what I mean? It's like that. What really saved Jonathan Gannon from getting exposed, in my opinion, was the offense. You know what I mean? The first 7 games of the season, we were putting up 24 points and a half or something like that. You know what I mean? Gannon really didn't have to do anything to come back. But in them shootouts where the defense can't get a stop, you know what I mean? And when you really need a stop, I feel like that's where Jonathan Gannon struggled the most. So I'm kind of glad that it wasn't an in-house hire. I didn't want anybody from the defense, and I like Denard. Will I like Denard? I just didn't want anybody from that tree because I feel like that defensive tree is already poisoned to an extent. You know what I mean? I really feel, because listen, when you come off of that much success, you probably don't think you got to change anything. You know what I mean? You probably don't think you got to change anything. I feel like you needed somebody brand new. He could bring in a couple of guys that he likes. I feel like this was the best move for us. Special teams coach coming back, kind of a head scratcher to me because special teams wasn't that terrific.
He got a raise, bro. He got a raise.
Right. I saw that. So, you know, I ain't mad. I'm not mad because, I mean, nobody returned the kick on us or anything like that. But special teams was just horrible.
The Super Bowl.
Don't say it. Oh, God. The worst return at the worst possible time. You know what I mean? But it's like,
and that's the one thing we held our hats on. It's like, okay, Covey's not returning it much, but nobody's returning it on us until the biggest game.
Right. And I feel like that's more on the players, man. That's more on the players than the coach because all year nobody's been doing that to you. You know what I mean? And then you let up in the biggest moment. I could see if it was a repeat situation, but yeah, man, I'm not opposed to the special teams guy coming back, but having a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator, those are big changes. Those are big changes. But with Brian Johnson being familiar with the system, I'm not really worried about the offense. I'm anxious to see if we draft guys that Desai likes on the defensive side of the ball, and if we draft guys that Brian Johnson likes.
Yeah, that will tell you, how dug in we are with these guys. And shout out to the Eagles for being able to I have guys that are, I guess, so good that they get head coaching jobs. And again, the NFL is so driven by analytics nowadays. Uh, Jonathan Gannon to another organization is like, oh, I like this, I like that, oh, I like this. Again, the Super Bowl was a big blunder, and we saw blunders of that sort throughout his tenure here, especially when you play above average quarterbacks. And that's why I think Desai is going to be a little different. And again, the philosophy is similar, but the mechanics behind it is going to go to show. Because, like we said, we telling Gannon to blitz, blitz, blitz. Well, he gave us a zero blitz in the Super Bowl, but he did it at the wrong time. Very, very evident. Mahomes called it out ASAP Rocky. And so, again, it's not about how much you blitz or when you blitz, it's how you do it and when you do it, the timing of it all. And it
Mhm.
just always felt like Gannon was, this is what he's doing. It's not working. Okay, I finally got something for it. Where I think the size is gonna, he's younger and I think he's gonna evolve what is already the Evangio scheme, and it's just gonna be a more Philadelphia style scheme under him. And so I like it. I like it. Two young minded guys who I
Yeah,
think could come up.
I think common sense was lacking in terms of the defensive coordinator last year. I mean, you think Patrick Mahomes never saw zero coverage? You know what I mean? Everybody is trying to force him to throw the ball fast or make a quick decision. You know what I mean? You got to be able to disguise against guys like Patrick Mahomes. I just feel like no homework was done, and you had to change it up. There's no way in hell Jonathan Gannon could have came back after the Super Bowl. I don't care who it was. I would have got somebody out of college before I would have got Jonathan Gannon. And I don't really like getting college defensive coordinators, but you know what I mean? It is what it is, man. This guy seems to be hungry. You know what I mean? He seems to be deserving of it. And, I like it, man. I like it. Let's talk about the draft for a second, though. We got the first pick. We got the 10th pick. Don't we got 5 overall picks?
We got 6 overall picks, 4 in the top 100, and then 2 seventh rounder, a 220 and a 250, which is like, what I mean? Yeah, you could get something because we have got some gems late, but
Right.
the 4 picks are what we're really working with. And they're all inside the top 100. So I like that.
I'm going to ask you something. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. So what would you do? You know what I mean? With your 10th and your 30th. And what do you think Howie Roseman is going to do? The Howie Roseman question is the hardest because nobody knows what Howie Roseman is going to do.
Correct, correct. I'm not really sure at this moment for the simple fact that I think free agent got to tell me something, right? Along the lines of, if Hargrave ain't there, I'm really thinking who's the best D tackle on the board at 10. And I do think there's going to be some guys. You talked about Jalen Carter falling a
Right.
little bit, this, that, in the third. Is he available? Can we move up from 10 to 8 and get him? Kind of like what we did with Jordan Davis, moving up a little bit, knowing that Baltimore was going to take him. So again, Bradbury, there's no way we keep Bradbury, Hargrave, and CJ. It might not even be able to get 2 of the 3, but that lets me know Bradbury walks. I think we got to go corner with the 10th overall pick. If Hargrave walk, I think we look at D tackle. Regardless, my first go-to is going to be a cornerback, just because I think that we're getting old there. And when you look at the youth on this team, outside, there's not much there. Zach McPherson, we don't really trust him. Josiah Scott, maybe he's not even back. And we don't like to play them outside. Like, I think we're very versatile if we have CJ Garner-Johnson and Avonte Maddox at the safety position, in the box and in the slot. But what happens when Bradbury leaves this year and Slay possibly next year? What happens if we do think that Slay is worth trading at this point because of his cap hit? Like, what are we doing on the back end? And so there's so many good corners that are going to be right around 10, and Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, and Joey Porter. I think you might have to go that. I do think that Howie's looking to trade back. I think he's looking to trade back to get more picks. He understands that, as he said today, he can't pay them all. He know he gonna lose some of these free agents. And so that being said, you want as many top picks as possible. If you feel like the board's fallen pretty darn good, where the guy you would get at 10, you can get at 15. Well, now you just possibly got another third round pick, a second round pick. Now you got 5 in the top 100. Then maybe you can play with the 30th pick and move up. So I think Howie's going to move back. That I think makes us fall closer to that D tackle position. So I could see a scenario where he lets Hargrave walk. And then he focuses on the D tackle, whether that's the guy from Clemson falling back to 15, where he doesn't have to rush anything. For that 30 pick, a lot of people are throwing the Bijan Robinson around, and I don't think Howie will do that because it's running back. But, there's been a couple scouts saying that the Eagles and a lot of teams will find him attractive close to that 30th. They think that anything past 25 getting Bijan could be a steal, even though we're starting to devalue the running back position. They calling him a game changer, but there are some other running backs that we can get. I saw today the Eagles feel comfortable with Kenneth Gainwell as number 1. I feel comfortable with him being a playmaker and a big time contributor, but you still need somebody to help him out. And not just help him out, but injury-wise, I think this league requires 2 backs of, B+ standards. So I don't know if you could just go okay with Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell, and then, who knows what we do in free agency. But I think the defense has to be addressed. As much as I would like to get a piece for this offense, I think you got to go both, your first 2 first-round picks. You got to get staple defensive players to help lessen the pain when you lose a BG, a Fletch, a Bradbury, a Slay in the near future. Say BG comes back on another 1-year deal because he loved Philly. He might do it. He got paid decently last year. Maybe he takes a discount. But we have to understand life outside these Super Bowl winners is coming. You know what I mean? And so the offense is locked up. You got to go defense. Unless there's something that just falls in your lap, like you just can't say no. I think it's 2 defensive players in the first with the first 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, I agree. I think you really have to emphasize the cornerback position, in this draft. You have to do it early. You need to try to find you something as close to a Sauce Gardner as possible. Somebody who could play at he's different, man. I didn't think he was going to be that good. Somebody that could,
he's a top 3 corner already.
Right. Like, you got to find somebody that could borderline be a Pro Bowler, and contribute from day one at that position. I think Slate comes back. With Darius Slay is, I think they actually extend Darius Slay, because you can extend Darius Slay and kick some of that money down, and you could save $13 million just by extending him. You know what I mean? And you could keep him around another year. He could mentor some of these guys. He still got a lot left in the tank. But yeah, I think what will end up happening is, I think this team will end up going cornerback and probably defensive tackle, depending on who's around, because you're going to lose probably Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. You know what I mean? That thrusts Jordan Davis into a predominant starting role. But we're a team that likes to rotate, defensive tackles. So we're not going to just come into this season with just Jordan Davis and nobody to be behind him. Now, Milton Williams is definitely playing at that level. You know what I'm saying? But Jordan Davis is going to come in there. Maybe you can find you another veteran that could come in on a 1-year deal and be rotational with Jordan Davis, because, a lot of these defensive tackles like to be in situations like this to where they don't have to play every snap and they can stay fresh and still be productive. I wouldn't be surprised if we go offensive lineman in the first round. You just never know, Howie Roseman. But running back is completely out of the question. Like, I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles will draft a running back in the first round. You know what I mean? It's just not in our DNA. It's just not who Howie Roseman is. It don't matter. I think if Saquon Barkley was there, we would have passed on Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? When he came out, Howie Roseman just ain't doing that. So I think free agency depends. I think a lot does depend on free agency, like you said, because we're going to have the money to make a splash. It could just be 1 player. Maybe it could be 2 mini splashes, 2 guys that were productive before. But we're going to have some money to make something happen. I think we make a splash in a linebacker category this free agency. I think we really go out there and get a linebacker that can make something happen. I don't want to say the Wagner name. You know what I'm saying? But it's very possible. You know what I mean? You just can't rule that out. Listen, you just went to the Super Bowl last year. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts has emerged as a superstar. Your front office is widely respected. Howie Roseman as a GM is very credible. Players love playing in the city. You know what I mean? You now have influence on the team. Like they don't have to pick up the phone and recruit. Gardner Johnson could pick up the phone and recruit, who I think will get a franchise tag. Hassan Reddick can recruit. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of people that can recruit players. So I don't think getting another star here on the defense side is a problem. So going defense is what I think they're going to do. So I'm on board with you there as well. I think we will take a wide receiver in this draft. Those are going to be later, but I think we'll go defense.
Well, let me ask you this. And I totally agree. And plus, think about this. The league just saw that people who took a 1-year deal in Philly are now getting paid because of that, right? Think about it. If we don't bring back CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's going to be the highest paid. He'll be the highest paid safety in the NFL. Hargrave, not on a 1-year deal, but on his last year of his deal with this team now, broke out. He's going to get $18 to $20 million. James Bradbury went from, is he even a good corner, to now going to be getting top 5, top 7 paid money. Kaiser White is going to get a decent bag. So guys who are willing to bet on themselves on a 1-year deal, Howie Roseman can do a little one here, one there, knowing that whatever he signs Jalen to probably is not going to hit the cap this upcoming season. You got both Devontae and AJ Brown with a total of $13.8 million on the cap. So Howie definitely has his options. But let me ask you this question, and then let's get to that Robert Dredden super chat. If you had to pick TJ Edwards coming back or Bobby Wagner, who are you taking?
I'm taking Bobby Wagner.
you taking Bobby Wagner over?
I'm taking Bobby Wagner because Bobby Wagner, from just a run stuffing standpoint. Now TJ Edwards wasn't bad at all. Like TJ Edwards probably had his best season as a pro last year, but people run away from Bobby Wagner. They don't want that contact. I'm taking Bobby Wagner, man. Bobby Wagner is a game changer on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, him you'll definitely take on a shorter term too because he's older.
Right.
TJ, I think if because he's homegrown, you drafted him undrafted, blah blah. I think you could get him with like that. You can get him for a nice 3 to 4 years with some little money up front and give some bigger on the back end when things matter. But that's interesting. Again, it depends on Howie Roseman. He has the. We have people who are going to grow with this team, right? Jalen here for a long time. CJ could be here for a long time. We got the youth factors, and we're going to lose a lot of our old guys. So if you lose old Fletch, old this, old that, and you sprinkle in like the old Bobby Wagner or another old veteran, it's not making our team any older because the reason we're getting these old guys is because we just lost some old guys. You know what I mean? It's not like old guys on top of old guys. So I could see that. Again, it depends on where things are, is how we going to go. And again, that whole word all in, it's not true. Yes, we have some guys that we're going to let go. But I think, when push comes to shove, we're going to get who we need back. And again, we have 2 first-round draft picks to replenish. And Howie said it today, pretty confident. He's like, man, these guys, Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis are ready. So
I think so too. I think that Nakobe Dean is going to emerge next year. I just think Nakobe Dean needs to be on the field. You know what I mean? This was like a lot of people, mainly haters within the division. A lot of these guys want to label Nakobe Dean a bust because he didn't get playing time. But it's hard to come over Kaiser White and TJ Edwards. It's just hard to do. Like we talk a lot about the leap that Jalen Hurts made. TJ Edwards has been making leaps every damn year. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to win playing time over those guys with you coming in as being a rookie. Now he was getting playing time because where he was drafted at, but when you playing at the level that he's playing at, when you got Hargrave playing at, Fletcher Cox was good last year. Then he had 7 sacks, I think. You know what I mean? Hargrave had 11 sacks. Where do you fit in? Then you bring in Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph. You know what I mean?
And Jordan Davis still got PT because of where he played.
Right.
And I agree. Look, you don't sign Kaiser White on a 1-year deal, have him play 2 games and say, well, we're not going to play you no more because Nakobe Dean, we want to try him, right? We were winning games. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's not to say that Nakobe Dean couldn't come on and play because we did see him and some cleanup duty. And it's cleanup duty, but he cleaned it up so well, like that Tennessee Titans game. He was in there in the backfield like this, reading that, had 6 tackles in 1 quarter. So the ability's there. But again, I'm paying Kaiser for 1 year. I'm going to get that 1 year out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean is on contract for 4 years. And
let him learn.
And redshirting him is a good thing too sometimes.
He learned a couple of things, and he also had to get bigger. He got bigger during the season. You know what I mean? So yeah, right. He put on some muscle. He got stockier. So I think they're ready. I think they're. Come on, these guys played in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They were on the field in the Super Bowl. That's the type
And the
of
championship
experience.
game. So listen, think about it.
Right.
They win the championship, and in their first year in the NFL, they're going right to the Super Bowl. So they literally played the biggest game in college and the biggest game in the NFL their first year, back
Right.
to back.
Like in a 12-month span. They were in the national championship and in the Super Bowl. So it's like, they got more experience than almost every player in our division. You know what I mean?
And
Who
look,
who else?
and for people who say it doesn't matter, talk to Smitty. Because my man Devontae Smith showed up to the Super Bowl in sweatpants. Like, it's just another game for me. Oh, it's
Right.
just another game. Guess who had 100 yards plus in the Super Bowl? Devontae. So he talked the talk. He walked the walk. He's the only player in NFL history to have 100 yards receiving in a Super Bowl and in a national championship. You know what I mean? So this man came.
Super dog.
He's a dog, bro. Slim Reaper.
Super dog, bro. Bro, it just make my heart smile how much of a dog Smitty is. Like, we already knew what we were getting, but yeah, man. I mean, I think we got some young guys that's ready to play in the fashion. I'm so excited for next season, honestly, man. I'm very excited because a lot of people think that we're going to take a major hit and a drop off of talent, but that's just not the case. And hopefully we're going to make a splash in free agency. So yeah, man, it's time. It's time to see, this new look Philadelphia Eagles and what this team could be, because a lot of these veterans are out the door. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts' contract for a second. Let me ask you this: 10-year deal or 5-year deal? Because with a 10 years, you can spread it out. You can spread it out over 10 years. All they care about is the guaranteed money. You could have him on the books for a Patrick Mahomes like deal, or give him the bag up front. 5-year deal.
I think that Howie could finagle more things in a 10-year deal. I think that Jalen's character in these 10 years, seeing where the team is at times, taking a hair off this year, doing a little different thing this year. I think there's more flexibility. And again, I don't know much about the cap. I actually want to research the difference and stuff like that. But I think that you got to do what's best for the team. And so seeing Mahomes' deal now and knowing that, at any time they can go to him and restructure this, restructure that, because of the length on the contract, I think that's valuable for a guy who's a beast at restructuring, right? Like, looking at who the Eagles are, I think it even fits us better than it will fit another team that's going to probably just let it rock out and just go around it. Again, rules are rules, but franchises like to spend money like the Eagles. They'll find a way to convert money into this, that, and the third. I mean, if we're giving the special team guys raises, we go on 5 ways to get the players paid. Just got to make sure it's on the books. So, I'm looking for a long contract. And, he's dual threat. What if he gets hurt? Well, anybody can get hurt. I can get hit by a car walking across the street today. You know what I mean? Right. So it is what it is. A guy in the pocket, a guy not. I understand the mindset of the more you run, the more hits you take, the more you can get hurt. But still, 20 hits, no hurt, 1 hit, and you're hurt. It's football. I'm cool. Get
I agree.
That can win a couple games behind him, and I still think he's going to be worth every dollar we give him. And as long as the contract—
I agree, man. I agree with that. Let's get to the super chat. Robert Dreeden, man, thank you for the $9.99. He says, salute LB Philly Mike. I said I wouldn't tell anybody Cowboys jokes, so here it goes. John Wayne Bobbitt and Jerry Jones. What is Jerry Jones? A Jones cut of his own Johnson. What? A Jones cut of his own Johnson. That was a good one. Somebody else put one in here too. Let me see where is that.
Shout out to you. We can always make fun of the Cowboys. That's a 365 type thing.
Facts. Shane Hilton, thank you for the super chat. He said, take a CB high. He'll be battling Smith and AJ all summer. He'll be ready by September. We got Lamb and Scary Terry in the division. Slade be 32-33 this season. That's a good point. Still definitely sharp and still, you know what I mean? We talked about, that all off season last year and in camp, how this team was how it was so much back and forth. The offense was winning, the defense was winning. You know what I mean? It was so much back and forth, and it really paid its dividends in this season. Dontel Dragon, thank you for the super chat. 10-year deal, lock it in. How? Yeah, I can see a long deal. like 8 to 10 years or something like that. So something new that the NFL has never seen before. I could really see that happening. I got a feeling it happens this week. I got a feeling it happens sooner than later for some reason. Like I just feel like now the team got their coordinators and now they're just in, make it happen mode. I really think it happens before Friday. Like, why not? You know what I mean? What are you waiting for? You waiting for Herbert? You waiting for Jackson? Like Jalen Hurts, his team and his representation. They just licking their chops right now, bro. You know what I mean? I really feel like it happens this week. I feel like we'll be the first ones out of the guys to get something, done or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think a long one is better. You know what I mean? It's really working out for Kansas City because, well, it's not really working out for Kansas City because now Patrick Mahomes can ask for more money for real, for real. He got, hey, that contract, I've outplayed that one that you guys have given me. So, I think Howie Roseman, can use that to his benefit, like you said, though. So I don't know, man. I feel really good, man. You found your franchise quarterback. Your offense is looking to average 30 points a game again this season. Those pieces are still in place. It's really about if the defense can create similar havoc, but in bigger moments.
Well, let me ask you in the chat in the chat, please respond. Give us your answers in the live chat. So I made a video about this the other day, and I wanted to text you about this anyway. So the Eagles proposed a new rule change. Did you hear about it?
Which one?
Well, yeah. Well, we proposed that we could wear the number 0. You know what I mean? And people are hinting. We're looking at Christian Gonzalez who wears 0. But the rule change. Oh, we're not talking about the rule change of the push touch. That's them hating on us. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
yeah.
old guys saying Tom Brady's allowed to do it, but Jalen Hurts. Why? Right? But listen, the Eagles proposed this rule change. Instead of onside kicks, you go for it on 4th and 15. If you get it, you get the ball.
I don't like it. I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it. Because 3rd and 30. You know what I mean? like 3rd and 30 is why I don't like it. Like teams can convert on a 4th and 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep the rules like you're changing the game with that one. You know what I mean? I don't like that one at all. I think it's a waste of time. I think if it does happen, I think a lot of people agree with it though.
Offensive, yeah. I mean, well, look, you got to think, it's a passing league. They're making all the rules that hurt the defense, making it harder for, guys to get sacks on quarterbacks. Guys can't even get their hands on wide receivers. And again, listen, you got people who look, more people go for it on 4th down today than they've, it's just a double dog dare you type league and a league that when your offense is good, we're better than you. We have the upper hand. Let's go for it on 4th and 3. Let's go for it on 4th and 2. Let's go for it on 4th and 5 at midfield. Let's not kick the field goal. Let's not play it safe. And I agree with you. 4th and 15, although it ain't the easiest, and I don't know what the stipulations will be like if you go all right. So I just
what if you don't get it? That's my thing. What if you
So we just scored on the opposing team, but we're still down 7, right? So we go down the field, score a touchdown. We're down 7 still because we were down 14. We scored a touchdown, but there's only 2 minutes and 23 seconds left. We only got 1 timeout. Then we would do an onside kick, but instead we go for it on 4th and 15. If we get it, we get the ball where? They didn't say about that. Or if we don't get it, the team that we were trying to get the ball back from, where do they get the ball at? Like, you know what I mean? All that hasn't been said. And again, I just think it's too much XFL. I think it's too much. Put some respect on defense. Stop playing with the defense. I think, I agree with you. When I first heard it, knowing that we got a top offense, I said, "Ooh, this could be fun in Madden." But I don't like to change the integrity of the game too much. You know what I mean? So again, I sat with it and said, it's too much. It's too video game like. You know what I mean? You play online video game, they never punt the ball, but then they quit quickly.
Yeah, they quit really fast. So it's like if you don't get it, like what's your penalty for going for it? Like, do we get it right where the play started? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. The Eagles are one of the teams that proposed it. I'm like, come on, Eagles. You know what I mean? Just relax. Just keep football how it is.
And what it does is it gives teams lifelines. I mean, listen, if there's only 2 minutes left and you still down 7, that's on you. When the clock out is out. You had the same amount of time as I had to get the lead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to give you no extra lifeline, no extra chance. No, bro. Like, yeah, I don't like it. Like I said, I hate it.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Like I said, the first thing just caught me off like it'd be fun in a video game. But again,
Right.
I said the exact words in my video. Like you whatever you did that made you down 2 scores with 2 minutes left, that's on you. You should have got a stop. You should have did this. You should have did that. But it definitely, when I read it and the Eagles were proposing, I was like, dang, 4th and 15
Right.
instead of onside
That
kick.
was
Like,
interesting to me that we
what are we
that we
doing?
would think about that as well. You know what I mean? But hey, it does make sense. Some people don't want their defense back on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a Jonathan Gannon Super Bowl rule.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You heard what AJ Brown said, you know, in his interview, well, his post-game interview when he was cleaning out his locker or whatever. He was like, you know, when we went for the field goal, I knew we was going to lose. You know what I mean? But that was when Quez dropped that pass. That's the only reason why we had to go for that field goal. Like, did he see? I know I know certain guys are just like the defense couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? I just know, man. It just made me semi-depressed. Just think about it again. But
Bro, I'm still mad. I usually have my Lombardi from 17 like up where I can see. I don't have it up where y'all can see it here. Like, but I have it seeable. I had to tuck it away for a little bit. Like, I don't want to look at
it's not mine's usually right there. Mine's is usually right. Man, you got the same one, right?
Similar, really similar.
Right. Mine's is usually right there, man.
I had to tuck
It's
that
been
away.
Downstairs in my kitchen since the Super Bowl. It has not made its way back up here. I'm gonna bring it back up here, but you know, it is.
Once we start getting in the flow of next year, I'll be right back talking on the phone with it. Like, you know what I mean? And we can grab it and talk.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring it back up here, but you know, I think our chances are really high of having another playoff run. You know what I mean? I think our chances are really high of having another run in the play. And let's be clear about this, because you know a lot of ops watching. 703 people in here. A lot of ops watching. The round is not a playoff run. Please understand this. Getting to the divisional round is not a playoff run. The Philadelphia Eagles were born in the divisional round because we had the number 1 seed. If we had got bounced out in the number against the Giants, that does not count as a playoff run. A playoff run is getting to the NFC Championship game or further. Anything shy of that is not a playoff run. You know, and I think we can get back to the NFC Championship game, but you know, it's going to be crazy this year, man. You know, it's going to be a target on our back. We play the Chiefs again, right?
Yes, and the Niners.
We play the Chiefs, the Niners, the Bills. Of course, we play our division, which is always tough. We play the Cardinals,
Dolphins,
the Dolphins. We play
Jets
some really,
will be
really
better
good
next year, most
the
likely.
Jets, right? They'll probably end up with Derek Carr or something like that. So you know, what I mean, we play a lot of good teams, man, and you know, this is the test that I want next year. I want to go through this type of gauntlet with this team. You know what I mean? We got some young guys who just was in the Super Bowl. I can't wait to see how it pan out.
Facts. Shout out to Kenny, though. He said, just came in. What do you think will happen with the secondary coach? I hope Denard stays. We the number 1 unit with him now. I don't know. I think he stays. I think he's like, you know what? You know, I don't think he shows any ill will because it's not like he got passed over multiple times. And I think, you know, again, I don't know how long he's been just a DB's coach. I know he's bounced around a couple places, but you know, I think us giving him real consideration, making a decision be harder than it was for other teams who just lost a guy, grabbed a guy outside. I think that shows respect. I mean,
right.
I hope he stays. I think, you know, we heard C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Big Play Slay talk real big words about him, and I think you keep them together, especially with the secondary staying intact, minus James Bradbury. I think he'll be good for a youngster. I think we need a young corner in here, and so I think Denard will stay. I mean, there's not many defensive coordinator positions open. It's late. We the last ones.
I hope he stays as well, man. I hope he stays as well. Even though I didn't really like a lot of from the defensive side of the ball last year, but cornerback really wasn't an issue for me. You know what I mean? You had an all-pro cornerback, and you had a Pro Bowl cornerback in Darius Slay. You know what I mean? Gardner-Johnson led the league in picks, but you know, I can't really give any defensive coaches a lot of credit because there was a lot of talent, man. This year it won't be as much talent. You know what I mean? And you know, we got to see how that pans out. But yeah, I would like him to stay. I mean, where else is he going to go? And it's not like a Deuce Staley situation where Deuce Staley, like, he felt slighted after not getting consideration for the head coaching job. You know, a Philadelphia native, he was here for so long. But you know what I mean? But then in hindsight, it turned out to be the best thing for us because I don't think that Deuce Staley would have been able to develop Jalen Hurts like this coaching staff did. I don't think a Deuce Staley-led coaching staff would have been able to get the best out of Jalen. But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And again, I think it takes a couple times being passed. Like, look, we just saw dang, why I keep forgetting this guy's name? The Chiefs OC, Eric
Eric
Bieniemy.
Bieniemy, yeah.
It's it's hard to say what am I doing over here when I got Pat Mahomes just making things happen. Andy Reid, one of the best play designers, and he takes over that stuff a little bit sometimes. So it's hard to say what are you doing. So now he says to ever be a head coach in this league to take a step up, because that's all you want to do as a coordinator, take a step up. If you're a positional coach, you want to be a DC or an OC. If you're an OC DC, you want to be a head coach. That being said, he said I got to move to Washington to show my talent and hopefully get them blah 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 and then figure it out. And so Denard Wilson, I think, stays with us. He's not going to leave us to be another DB coach. He might leave us to be a DC somewhere, but they're all locked up. And I think he's done well. CJ Gardner-Johnson went as far to say that one of the reasons I had my best season is because of Denard Wilson. He had me playing right. So I'm glad he'll be back. I think that will bring some continuity. Again, Brian Johnson being an OC, I think the offense is not going to miss a beat. I think it's going to be more efficient, as you said, with some hot routes and whatnot. And then the DC coming in, schematically, it's the same, but mechanically, it's a little different. It's the true Vic Fangio scheme. And so for people wanting Vic Fangio, it's still more of a passive. They want to drop back in coverage and win with their front four at majority of the times, but we'll see more different fronts, and we'll see different disguises from Desai, and I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I wanted Vic Fangio, man. I think that didn't pan out for us because people were Jonathan Gannon. After we beat the Giants, after we beat the San Fran, I'm not going anywhere. What I mean? When you're saying stuff like that, that make guys go and look for other jobs. But I'm happy. Listen, as long as Gannon is out, man, I give this guy a fair chance. I got to give him a fair chance.
He keeps talking about the damn Super Bowl too. Like, Arizona media, stop asking him about it because he's at the combine. Like, how Howie and Nick Sirianni spoke at the combine. And of course, Philly WIP is going to share anything that was a former player. That's why we got the, super update on Carson for the majority of his career at post Eagles. But, they asked him about the Super Bowl again. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I have some stuff I want to take back. Like, we couldn't get a stop. Like, I could have did some things differently. And I hate hearing that from him. Now,
and I think he's trying to get Bradbury over there.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to get Bradbury over there. So he's trying to use his influence, to pick the bones of any players, that we might not be able to sign. I think a lot of guys, honestly, a lot of Philadelphia Eagles, if we don't resign them, will end up in Arizona. Yeah. I think a lot of I think Kaiser White goes over there.
Well, I wanted to ask you, I know you picked Wagner over TJ, but if you had to pick TJ or Kaiser back, who would you take then?
TJ. I would take, and I don't think Kaiser was bad. I don't think he was bad. I just think that I think we asked him to do things that he's not normally used to doing. You know what I mean? Like he's more of a coverage type of guy. We had him out there like really like dedicated, and I think he got better at tackling though with us though. You know what I mean? Because we asked him to play a different role, but Kaiser White really could cover, and we didn't use him. We didn't use those guys right, man. We didn't use our linebacking core right at all, but they still were productive.
Yeah, and my main thing is not to say who was better or worse. I do think TJ has been getting better every year, and I still don't think he hit his ceiling. But I think that when you look at the combination, if we do get one of them guys back, I think a TJ and a Kobe Dean lineup is more efficient and can play off each other's skill sets better than a Kaiser White and a Kobe Dean, because no Kobe Dean is going to be a linebacker on the field. That's what we drafted him for, and it's going to be time because there's no way we can keep both these linebackers, let alone you might not be able to get either of them back, to be honest. So, we got to figure that out. It's crazy.
Yeah. I agree. We might have to draft a linebacker. You know what I mean? But I haven't really dove too deep into this draft class like that, but I haven't really heard of any linebackers that were just like game changers for real, So, it's definitely the time for me to start doing my homework big board together or a draft board or something like that, because having 2 first round picks, you gotta have your 10 guys. If they're there, you cannot pass up on them. You know what I mean? And what's his name? Will Anderson from Alabama and Jalen Carter. I feel like if they're there, you have to get one of those guys. I think you possibly have to trade up for one of those guys if you can. I think those guys are absolutely going to be able to fit well into what we do over here. Will Anderson being rotational, stepping into the spot as a rookie that Brandon Graham might be exiting from. You know what I mean? But it all depends. But will I bring BG back for another year? Absolutely. We just got to see what's going to happen with these free agents, man. It's
Kelsey's
hard.
coming back.
For sure.
And
he's probably going to announce it on the podcast tomorrow.
Howie's going to be on that joint tomorrow. I'm going to be tuned in. ASAP
Right.
Hey, I do like the fact that I love Howie's press conference today, because I heard you speak about it before I got on, talking about, we had so many free agents and so many guys are playing well. He felt it would be kind of disrespectful to come out and say, we're going to extend you, and hey, you got to wait. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't.
Right.
He also talked about he don't like to go to a guy and try to lowball them. Like, if he knows he don't got the value of who they are, he's just going to be like, yo, go ahead and do what you got to do. You know what I mean? No point of doing that unless they come to him and like Miles Sanders. But I really don't think Miles Sanders, and he was talking highly of Kenny G for sure. But the way he was talking about the quarterbacks in his draft, saying they're talented, it's a quarterback league, and we hope as many quarterbacks are picked from 1 to 10 or 1 to 9 as possible, because every time a quarterback goes off the board,
right,
it was somebody we're not even looking at, and it leaves a skill player defensively, offensively for us to take. And he said, it feels good to not need quarterbacks, and it does feel good to know that we got a guy who's as young as some of these draftees, but we don't need a guy. We got a guy. We don't need a guy.
Exactly. So Chicago, depending on what they do, they got the number 1 pick. I really got them trading that pick. I got Chicago trading that pick and moving down to like 4. You know what I mean? If you move down to 4, then Indianapolis will have number 1. They're going quarterback. Houston's going quarterback. Arizona's going to stay right where they are at 3. They're going to take best available player. Jalen Carter could be going at 3 to Arizona. You got Denver with the 5th pick by way of Seattle. They don't need a quarterback. They got Russell over there. The Rams are 6. They don't need a quarterback. Las Vegas needs a quarterback now. Atlanta needs a quarterback at 8. Carolina needs a quarterback at 9. And that puts the Philadelphia Eagles in a tremendous spot. You know what I mean?
But check this out,
tremendous spot.
Some of them teams that you said don't need a quarterback, they also might be looking at, we don't have that much capital. So you said the Rams are what, 6?
Yep, the Rams are 6.
The Rams are 6. They don't need a quarterback, but guess what? For the last couple of years, they traded all their picks, right? So they could use some picks. So now they trade out of 6 to number 7. They trade from 6 to 13 because the guy who's 13 needs a quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right. Which would be the Jets.
Think about, I'm just saying 14, 15. So just because a team doesn't need a quarterback, they could be looking, and same with us. If the draft comes to number 10, say on our big board, we got like 3 or 4 people that are on our big board that are still there at 10, but we still got like that Florida quarterback on the board, or Will Levy's on the board, and we get somebody who's like at 14 overall, 15 overall, knocking on our door like, listen, we want a quarterback at 10. Give us the 10th. We'll give you the 15th and a second. You know what I mean? And now we do that. We still get the guy we want, and now we have 5 picks in the top 100. So I think that Howie's going to be playing shoots and ladders like he always does. You know what I mean? He be finagling it. And so don't worry. Another thing I love, he said, I'm never not thinking about this team. I go to bed thinking about this team. I wake up thinking about this team. He just be thinking about this team.
No, yeah. I mean,
it's his job. I think he really do be 24/7 with it.
Donatello Dragon, thank you for the super chat. When he addressed them as Bird Gang, it had me heated. I think he was confused. Something wrong with Jonathan Gannon, man. Something wrong with homie.
You said
man.
He's not one of us on that picture where he did that.
Yeah,
thing.
he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't one of us, man. He ain't one of us. He got to go.
Oh, wait, real quick. You seen Nick Sirianni? He was at a bar in Jersey taking shots with some Eagle fans.
No, I didn't see that.
I put it on the YouTube short. Yo, shout out to the person
Shout
who
out to
called me out.
Nick though. Commander Jahan, thank you for the super chat. He said Christian Gonzalez to Philly would be nasty, but held to the what?
To
Boy,
the
stop.
Commanders.
Yeah, I ain't reading that. but the Dolphins don't have a pick.
I guess not.
21st pick forfeited by the Dolphins. Because I'm looking at the picks now to see,
They forfeit it?
it just says forfeited by the Miami Dolphins.
What?
Yeah, they don't have a first round pick.
Yeah, but if trading it is one thing, but forfeit, like what they do?
Yeah, they had to do something. They had to violate something. That's why they ain't got no pick.
That's because they try to play Tua with the concussion. But
Right.
I can't not laugh at that. But yo, that's crazy. Forfeit. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, they forfeited a pick. So I mean, I don't give a damn about them, man. I'm like Howie. I'm worried about this team. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely coming up on our hour, man. What you got going on for the rest of the week?
Not too sure. Yeah, not too sure. Because I was so ready to just wait and see what these DC and OC look like. Like I was frustrated. Right. Friday, I made a video breaking news. The Eagle. No, we don't. You know what I mean? I was upset. Some people didn't like it. They were like, "Calm down, Mike." But I was like, "Come on, announce it. I'm trying to get this thing going." So I'm glad we got that. The combine's up, so I think you're gonna see a lot of Eagle content creators. Look, when you see that guy who, oh my God, he's way faster than we thought. He jumped way higher than we thought. Mm-hmm. He looks good in shorts, better than we thought. All that crazy stuff the combine does. It does help because what's his name, who was on both our channels, just said it recently. Clay Harbor. Right. He said, I went into the combine projected to be an undrafted rookie free agent. Then I ran my 40. I did my vertical jump and I jumped to the 4th round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely helps, man. Especially for guys like tight ends,
Quez
defensive
Watkins.
Tackles.
He was supposed to be undrafted. He ran that 40 second to Henry Ruggs, and here comes Howie Roseman with the 6th round pick.
And to be fair, man, we got a lot of value out of Quez. Man, I know a lot of people are unhappy with Quez right now.
I'm keeping him.
I feel like he's done enough to get another chance. You know what I mean? But come on, man, it's just the stage to where he folded at, man. You can't fold on that stage, man.
Yeah, he deserves to get treated how Philly treats. You know what I mean?
Right.
We love hard, we hate hard, but it's only for the time. And again, he's a guy who put in the work to even get to the 6th round. He's put in the work. I think he's going to work hard. He didn't shy away from the camera. He said right away, I didn't like how I regressed. Now, I understand I got less opportunities, but there's no excuses. When my number's called, I got to do it. A lot of people would have shied away. Jalen Reagor would have hid for weeks, deleted everything. Right. You know what I mean? So He addressed it, and I'm going to give it to him. You know what I mean? He got to catch more balls. But we knew, look, when you talk, he's not even the 3rd option. He's the 4th option. He's our 3rd receiver, but it goes AJ, Devontae, and Goddard. And when you have 1,300, 1,100, and 700, I mean, I don't care what he finishes with, whether it's 300, 400, 500. I don't care. I just want him to be more clutch. When the ball goes to him, catch the ball.
Man, he dropped some. He dropped some lollipops, man.
I understand.
That's the thing. He was dropping practice catches, bro. You know what I mean? You like. Oh, he's so fast. He dropping shit that you could just run under. He jumping out the water like a dolphin out the water.
He needs to work with. He needs to get with whoever, whatever. Stop jumping. Just run.
Right. You need to just like come on. You saw AJ ran under that ball that Jalen. But Greenblood, thank you for the super chat. Don't you think we need to draft a quarterback later in the draft? That is a better for Hurts RPO offense because it's obvious. I don't think you need to draft a quarterback. I don't think so. But I ain't mad at it if you do. BB, thank you for the super chat. Picture Odell making that catch instead of Quez, man. I'll take Jalen Ramsey too. Yeah, I'll take Jalen Ramsey if you could get him, but Jalen Ramsey looking to get paid. You know what I mean? The Dolphins lost their pick for trying to hire Brady for their front office when he was still playing. Thank you for the super chat.
What?
That sounds like right. That's crazy. Brady has been torturing them for decades. You know what I mean? Being in that division. Why would they try to hire him while he's still playing?
That's crazy. You know if that's the truth.
Right. I'm going to look into that.
Other people are saying it too. Tampering with Brady is why the Dolphins don't have their pick.
Wow. That's a hard way to go. Definitely a hard way to go. But yeah, man, I'm gonna look into Desai this weekend, man. I'm gonna see, the system that he plays. I'm definitely gonna check out Gate City video. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do some of my own research on that as well. But that's all I got going on for this week,
Honest
man.
NFL. Make sure you'll follow the Honest NFL on Twitter. He talks about the NFL, but he mainly talks about Philadelphia. Honest NFL. He got some good stuff to tell you where to watch to see some Desai or however you say it.
Facts. Yeah. I'm definitely I'm gonna tap
Gate
on my
two,
Honest
gate two.
NFL. Yeah, Gate Honest NFL. I'm gonna do my due diligence, man. I need to know how this guy plays, how this guy thinks, how he approaches the game, because he's the most important hire of the offseason. Yeah, I mean, he's the most important hire of the offseason for the staff. So yeah, I'm interested in it, man. But
If LB watches Gate City's video tonight, you're gonna see a video tomorrow. Like, I don't know about this. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I'm definitely gonna watch it tonight. I'm definitely gonna watch it tonight for sure. You know what I mean? Because Gates gonna give me the real. So I'm definitely gonna watch it. But yeah, man, that's all I got, man. We up on our hour, man. 665 people in the building. Tuesday night. Thank y'all. I know talk gonna always make sure we bring it to y'all at least once a week, once every 2 weeks, whenever we do this. But thank y'all, man. We definitely appreciate y'all. Peace.